In this video, I'm going to talk you through how to write a strong literature review for your sports therapy dissertation. Now, many students find the literature review one of the most challenging sections of their dissertation. It is not simply a summary of research papers. Instead, it is where you can demonstrate that you understand the current evidence and how your research fits within it. Now, in this video, I will cover what a literature review actually is, how to structure it, and some practical tips to help you write it effectively. Now, a literature review is not just a list of papers. Instead, it tells a story of what we already know about a topic. Your aim is to review the existing research, highlight key findings, compare studies, and identifying gaps or areas where further research is needed. Now, the literature review just explains why your dissertation research is important. Now, one of the most common mistakes students make is writing what we call a descriptive literature review. Now, this is where students simply just summarize each paper one by one. Instead, you should group research by themes and compare studies with each other. Think about what the research collectively tells us rather than discussing each study individually. Your literature review should follow a clear structure and follow a logical format. You start by introducing the topic area and why it is important, then move into the main themes that appear in the research. For example, if your dissertation is about ACL rehabilitation, you might include sections on injury mechanics, rehabilitation protocols, return to sport criteria, and psychological readiness. Each section should critically discuss the research rather than just simply summarizing it. Now again, instead of organizing your literature review by individual studies, organize it by themes. For example, if your dissertation is about hamstring injuries, you might have sections discussing injury risk factors, rehabilitation approaches, and prevention strategies. This helps create a logical flow and shows that you understand the research landscape. A strong literature review is critical. This means you evaluate the research rather than simply accepting it. For example, you might discuss whether studies use small sample sizes, whether research is focused only on elite athletes, or whether different methodologies produce conflicting results. This critical thinking demonstrates higher level academic understanding. Remember, not all research papers carry the same level of evidence. I would start looking at systematic reviews and meta-analysis, as these summarize multiple studies. However, you may also need to include individual studies if your topic is very specific. Remember that the aim is to show a balanced overview of the available evidence. Every section of your literature review should ultimately link back to your research question. If there are gaps in literature, highlight them. For example, perhaps most studies have focused on elite athletes, but not recreational athletes. Or maybe research has examined rehabilitation protocols, but not psychological kind of readiness. Your research should help address one of these gaps. Here are some top tips for students when you're starting to write your literature review. My biggest advice to all students is to start early. You need to be able to read those papers, digest them, and take away the correct information that you require for your literature review. Keep a record of the key findings from each paper you read and organize them into themes. Also remember that writing a literature review takes time. It's much easier to write small sections regularly rather than try to complete it all in one go. I normally write the sections that link into my research and then start reading some papers. If you time management correctly, you can do blocks of writing time and reading time, so it doesn't seem such a big task in the end. Now, my final piece of advice is the literature review is your opportunity to demonstrate your academic understanding of the topic. It shows that you know the research, that you can evaluate it critically, and that you understand where your research fits within the field. If you take the time to plan your structure and organize the research clearly, writing the literature review becomes much easier and doesn't seem such a daunting task.